Welcome back, NGDL and Dolphione fans. So this is probably part of the part of the battle I normally try to hype up a matchup, and this is the last week of the NGDL, week at 12. And truth be told, this matchup might not actually matter. Although, I am already locked for the playoffs. Zakatak has been long eliminated from such things, so he's just playing for respect. This battle might not end up even mattering for divisional seeding. In fact, it is completely dependent on a match that is yet to be played between Quilliams 23, St. Louis Fletchinders, and the Kentucky Typhlosions, coached by MrChabry. So if MrChabry ends up beating St. Louis, then this match will actually have some pretty radical playoff implications for me. And if Quilliams 23 wins, then I am actually just locked into the third seed, and there's nothing that can change that, win or lose. But if MrChabry does win, this game does have some pretty big ramifications for me, because not only would it mean that if I lose, I'd be dropped down to the fourth seed, which is the difference between some extra money to be able to spend in the playoff draft. But if I win and Quilliams loses, gets defeated by MrChabry, then I can actually win the division. And if Sharpedo 43 also loses this week, I could actually win the conference, which would actually be huge because that would give me several extra dollars to work with in the playoff draft. In addition to the fact that I will get the first pick-ins, so to speak, from the teams that are eliminated from the playoffs. So this matchup could have some ramifications for the playoffs, but the major pressure is off because I've already made the postseason, and anything can happen in the playoffs after the playoff draft. Playoff positioning does matter, but it's something that is minor enough that I'm not feeling like the complete pressure. We clinched last week. Let's go ahead and have a good end of season match here with my good friend Zakatak, who is an amazing guy, by the way. And you might recall that he was actually winless when we first played this season. He was able to string together a few wins, so I'm really happy for you. So I'm just gonna actually stick with my roster. I didn't make any transactions, and honestly, I'm just not gonna reinvent the wheel against Zakatak. I'm actually going to bring a very similar team that I brought the first matchup, and he only made one change himself since then, and it was transacting away Hitmon top for Lycanroc, and Lycanroc is a little bit more threatening against me because I do have quite a bit of a rock weakness, as you noticed. But for the most part, I can deal with it, and I kind of just stuck with the same thing. Now, obviously, I can't bring Swellow this time because Swellow was transacted away, but Aerodactyl is going to be the mon that I'm going to bring instead. I was thinking about actually trying out the Z Celebrate Aerodactyl, which actually just came out, so that would have been fun to use, but I decided actually just to stick with Leafeon, and I feel like I really need the Z Crystal there. Plus, Aerodactyl's job is just going to make sure that he can't set up hazards, because, just to defog, set up hazards on him. He only has one Rapid Spinner, so he's definitely going to bring the Clade Ball this time. I think that's his only Rapid Spinner now, so yeah, I'm just going to use that as pretty much a Focus Sash Aerodactyl, and a lot of my other stats aren't changing. I did play with the spreads a little bit because Lycanroc is quite a bit faster. In fact, the first time I played him, he didn't really have any other fast Pokemon other than Blazion, but now he does have that Blazin Lycanroc, which is not Blazin. It's not super fast, but it is base 110, so it's something I had to adjust my spreads for. I'm still going to go ahead and bring that Celesteela, the physical autonomized Celesteela, which actually swept him the first time. And I switched up some sets as well. I believe I am going with a Charty Berry just to help defend against my Araquanid, that is, just to defend against that Lycanroc, which actually can be a pretty scary Pokemon in the right situation against me. And of course, your Dragonite. So, like I said, we're just going to kind of stick to the game plan for the first one. It seemed to work out for that match. And we're going to see if Zakatak can adjust to that. There's really not a whole lot for me to adjust to from that first match. I mean, like I said, we played, and, well, Celesteela just went destructive mode. Just tearing through his squad. The game plan will be similar. We can't afford to be swept by Blazion. It's a one-dimensional but incredibly dangerous Pokemon. The Lycanroc is a bit of a problem, and I believe we do have enough on this team to also overpower the Mega Venusaur, which has also been a problem for teams this season. Of course, you have to be careful of Dragonite as well, because it can Dragon Dance and stuff. Once again, Sticky Webs will be kind of a priority, because it'll allow me to pretty consistently outspeed the Blazion and the Lycanroc. And, yeah, aside from that, that's all I really have to say about this match. Not a whole lot. I mean, because not a whole lot's riding on it. Actually, well, I shouldn't say that. I do want the playoff positioning. So hopefully we can come up with a win here, and MrChabry can take care of business as Quilliams, and maybe we'll be the first seed in the conference. Well, of course, we'd be second seed overall because visually he only has one loss and it's against me. So just gonna go ahead and say that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to play the match, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Without further ado, here's the match against my friend Zakatak, and yeah, let's go ahead and hopefully have a good one in a casual environment here before the playoffs. So there's his team, kind of similar to what he brought the first time as well, except he is bringing the Lycanroc, obviously, and yeah, it's a Pokemon that I really have to account for. So I'm actually going to go ahead and lead with Crocodile. I noticed they didn't bring the Claydol, so I'm probably thinking he's going to go for the Meesprit just to try to set up his Stealth Rocks. Now, I don't have Taunt this week. This is a Scarf Crocodile, if I recall from the first time. I'm just going to try to go for the knockoff, but it does survive because, once again, he brings the bulky Meesprit and sets up the Stealth Rocks, so that is actually kind of a pretty big nuisance here, especially because that kind of invalidates my, you know, sash I brought on my Aerodactyl. I decided to go just for another knockoff, trying to finish off the Meesprit. He ends up trying to save it, I guess, for fodder, or maybe he figures he might be able to be faster than something and set them up again later. So I'm just going to go to my Aerodactyl. I'm pretty sure this Venusaur doesn't have anything to take me down from 75%. It is going to go ahead and Mega Evolve, though. The worst thing he could do here is Sleep Powder, and I'm hoping he doesn't do that, because I just want to get off the quick Defog and maybe even get Stealth Rocks of my own, although I'm not that lucky. The Giga Drain does quite a lot to me, and heals the Venusaur close to full as well. So I'm just going to go for the Defog. I don't need the Stealth Rocks. I mean, it would be nice, but no, I'm just going to go for the Defog because I really don't want them up on my field because I still have Charizard, who obviously it takes 50% every time it switches in. Speaking of Charizard, I'm going to go into it now. Charizard against Venusaur is one of those classic good matchups for Charizard. Really the classic matchup for Charizard. So I'm just going to go ahead and Mega Evolve. I decide to go for the Flamethrower. I figured that it would hit if he switches, it'll hit anything pretty hard. He ends up not switching. Obviously, this guy does have thick fat, so it's not going to be doing as much as I could have done with Air Slash, but I figured it'd still do more than half if he does stay in, and yeah, he does. He just goes for the Sludge Bomb. I guess he's maybe hoping for the Poison, but he doesn't get it. Now I will switch it up for the Air Slash. Actually, it doesn't really matter, because Flamethrower looked like he was a 2-hit KO, but Air Slash does neutral damage to this Primarina as well, and I end up getting the crit, which actually I feel kind of bad about, because I'm pretty sure that crit might have mattered, especially if we brought a bulky Primarina. I might have not been able to kill a Solar Beam at this range. Now, I did bring Modest Charizard this time. That's one of the differences from the first time. I don't know why I was bringing Timid the first time, but I did. And, well, wait, Modest just makes so much more sense. And that will be able to kill from that range. And, yeah, thankfully, thanks to the crit. So I got a little bit lucky there. Unless he was an offensive set, in which case I probably could have killed him from Solar Beam, even if I didn't crit, but who knows. Anyway, so he comes in with the Lycanroc. I don't want to take into Celesteela, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch out into, or any rock move. So I was going to go ahead and switch out into Crocodile, which is pretty much a safe switch because I get the Intimidate, I have the Resist to Rock, and I can just go for the knockoff now. He does just go into the Meesprit, so I don't have to worry about the Stealth Rocks any longer, as he goes into Venusaur now, and unfortunately that thing is a little bit too healthy to be taken out by a knockoff at this range, so I'm just going to go into my Celesteela, predicting either a Poison or probably this Grass move. And indeed he does go for it. I X4 resist, and I don't want to set up quite yet, because I kind of figured he would either go into this Dragonite or maybe even Blazefalon. I mean, I guess I could have, I mean, if he has Scarf Blazefalon, he can still outspeed me, although I do have the Aqua Berry. Still, I figured it would be safer to switch to Araquanid. He ends up going to Dragonite, which actually isn't what I wanted. I was kind of expecting Blazefalon, and this ends up being kind of meh for me because this guy could actually set up against me with Dragon Dance, and there's really not a whole lot I can do because it resists Liquidation. So I just decided to go for the Toxic instead of going for the Sticky Webs. I really wanted to go for the Sticky Webs, and it's going to be a pain because I'm not able to set them up, especially it makes Blazefalon a lot scarier. But I just didn't want to give this guy a free setup, and instead he just goes straight for the Thunder Punch and is able to take down my Araquanid, although he does have Life Orb, as you can see, so I know he's not going to be, like, banded or anything, so I'm just going to go into my my Crocodile, I get the Intimidate, and yeah, he's going to force his switch into Venusaur, which is actually not a great switch, because while one knockoff was enough to do it, two will definitely KO from that range, and that crit doesn't even matter looking at the damage. Just going to be able to take that guy out, so he's going to basically just sack Venusaur to me, and now go back into Dragon. I'm like, you know what, maybe I should be able to kill. Unfortunately, I don't. So he's going to be able to get a hit off. In fact, he actually said he survived with 1 HP, so Dragonite going clutch and gets that much-needed damage against my Crocodile, because I was pretty confident I could live a Blazefalon Flamethrower before that. But now, after that Dragon Claw damage, I will not be able to, and I'm just going to stay in just in case he's not Scarfed, but he is, which is actually fine, because now that I know he's Scarfed, because my Crocodile was also Scarfed, now that I know that my Celesteela can live at +1 with its Aqua Berry, so I can just go into that and go for the Earthquake. And yeah, I'm just going to nom on that. As I said, unless he crits me, which would be kind of shitty, I should be able to live that and just go for the Earthquake, which is, like I said, once again, Aqua Berry on the Celesteela, although Celesteela won't be getting any sweeps this time, because I was unable to get off a Autonomize, so he can just go into his last Pokemon, which is the Lycanroc. And yeah, he's actually going to go ahead and pop off his Z-move here, which I don't even know if he needed. I guess he just didn't want to miss with Stone Edge, but it doesn't really matter anyway, because I still have Leafeon in the back. I can just go into Charizard and, yeah, set up the Sun, and then outspeed pretty much everything. Also, yeah, don't take down my video, YouTube. See, I'm blocking it. Don't have to worry. Nintendo's content is safe. But, yeah, so good game there, Zach. Looking back on it, I probably could have gotten a 2-0 if I wanted to, because I ended up winning 1-0, because he is going to be able to take down my Charizard with the Celesteela. Which I kind of expected, but I wanted to make sure Leafeon outsped, just in case, I don't know, he got Super Crit or something on his Stone Edge on my Leafeon and one-shot it somehow. I don't think he can actually do that, but who knows, unless, maybe, I don't even know, I didn't count him. But either way, I could have probably gotten a 2-0 if I actually just went into Leafeon from the start, because I did have Knockoff, which would have KO'd the Blazefalon anyway, so I probably could have just went into Charizard against Blazefalon and then went into Leafeon for the win, but whatever! It was still a good game. In fact, I was really glad to have this game with Zach. Nice close one before the playoffs, and yeah, so we finished the season now 8-4, so that's a pretty good record. In fact, looking back on it, that was the record I, kind of penciled in as the record I would need to make the playoffs. Turns out I only needed 7, but with this win, I am guaranteed now at least the 3rd seed. And if MrChabry's Kentucky Typhlosions can knock off Quilliams 23, then I will be the division winner. So, kind of do want that. And more to the point, actually, if I don't even need, I think I said in the pregame that I would need Sharpedo 43 to lose to be the 1st seed. No, I don't think I do, because he's 7-4, so I'm 8-4, and I have the tiebreaker over him. So if Quilliams Quilliams loses to MrChabry, I will be the 1st seed in the conference, which actually might be kind of bittersweet, because that would mean that I'd be facing, I think, MrChabry first in the playoffs, and that guy beat me twice this season. So who knows? Maybe that wouldn't actually be great for me, although the playoff draft can change a lot of things, and we're obviously going to, if that does happen, we need to target something to deal with Palkia a little bit easier. But anyway, yeah, today's question today is, how do you think the Dolphiones are going to do in the playoffs? Do you think this is our year? Do you think we can finally bring home the gold, bring home the trophy? Or do you think we're going to get stomped in the playoffs at some point? As for me, I'm a little bit optimistic. I mean, MrChabry, I don't know what this guy does, but he always seems to have my number. He's going to be the guy that I truly, is going to be a problem for me if he gets in. Because he might not even get in, though. If he loses against Quilliams, it actually opens the door for Skep to make the playoffs instead of him. So he has to be really careful and definitely get that win, which would give me the 1st overall, for the 1st seed in the conference, I think. So that would be pretty cool. So hopefully it is our year. MrChabry is probably the most, Visuali in the other conference, he only has 1 loss, and he has the freaking Arceus, and that's always going to be challenging if we end up playing in the championship again. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. I will probably try to do a playoff preview video once the playoff draft is done. In fact, I might try to actually recruit some commentators with me. I'll probably ask around on my Discord to see if any participant has a decent mic would be willing to go ahead and do that. I think that would be fun, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, 8-4, Dolphiones are riding high, at least running into the playoffs. So hopefully we can have a good playoff draft and get ready for it. So thanks for watching and this entire season, and I hope you continue to watch for the playoffs. Later, y'all.